Hey, I'm Gabriel, and I just had a fascinating conversation with Mario, the CFO of SingularityNET. We spoke about the Artificial Superintelligence Alliance that they are ultimately trying to build. AI is connected to blockchain, the future of AGI. We have a crazy thesis there, and we spoke about so much more. Super interesting conversation. Highly recommend you watch it. Leave your comments below. Tune in. Let's go. Just to start, so there's SingularityNET, but it's part of this larger thing called ASI, which is the Artificial Superintelligence Alliance.
Yes.
So tell us about how it's all connected.
Yeah, sure. So, a little bit about me as well. I'm a banker as background. I joined the crypto space in 2016 and in 2017, looking for disruption majorly on financial markets, money markets, and so on and so forth. Along the way, I connected with Dr. Ben Goertzel, who's the founder of SingularityNET. And Ben has been on the journey of creating benevolent artificial general intelligence since the 90s. And he has his own way of looking at it, which is really for the benefit of the community and for the benefit of humanity. So when he discovered blockchain, he thought that decentralization was a perfect fit. This was 2017. So SingularityNET launched in 2017. It's also the project associated with Sophia the robot. And many things happened since then. But basically, fast forward to 2024, SingularityNET had become an ecosystem of AI-driven token-based companies, of which I lead a few, including SingularityDAO, which is a different protocol, as well as others. And we connected with other leaders in the space, in particular Fetch.ai and Ocean Protocol, which were also from 2019. So we were a bit earlier, but they were also OGs in the space. And at the beginning of 2024, we were all kind of, top 50, top 100 kind of coins. And we identified how the challenge ahead of us is great. And the challenge is how do we make sure that AI is built by and for the wider community? And obviously the flip side is what's actually happening in the AI space, which is this, super gigantic, monolithic, and somewhat government influenced, tech-driven, tech behemoth companies, right? And so we want to give a different perspective to what the future of AI can be. And so we decided to join and become the ASI Artificial Superintelligence Alliance. And we joined in a way that we merged tokens. So at the time of merging, we announced in March 2024, the combined market cap was $8 billion. We eventually completed the merger in July, a time in which the market cap was $5 billion. And it's now sitting around 2. We remain 3 separate foundations. SingularityNET is focused on AGI research, blockchain tooling, and AI agent marketplace. Fetch.ai is focused on AI agents, frameworks, and AI agents application and commercial applications. Ocean Protocol is Fetch and decentralized data and decentralized verification. And then in September 2024, we also acquired Kudos, which is a distributed compute and decentralized marketplace for compute. So with the thesis that, the challenge is great, we decided that it's better to do it together. And if we really want to try, these are big numbers, but they're almost meaningless for, or very small compared to the numbers that the big players are playing with. So if we want to try to make a dent, an impact, and really change things, we said that it's better together. And also, as I just outlined, the components of the tech stacks that each party brings to the table are complementary to each other. And by integrating the 4 pieces, we have the full tech stack for building the centralized AI solutions from compute to final applications, and that's what we want to do.
Wow. Whew.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
We got 3 big parts of this ecosystem, and it seems like you guys really have a big mission here.
Indeed.
So that's fascinating. So tell us more about what you're doing at SingularityNET. And yeah.
So SingularityNET, as one of the founding members, first of all, the vision that has been accepted and imported in ASI is SingularityNET's and Ben's vision. So AI has to be shall be decentralized and for the benefit of humanity, right? Which is a statement that we've been making for 10 years, but now it's becoming extremely relevant. And and a good message for the world, right? Like, I mean, there's this fear that AI is going to kind of take over and the machines, will make us obsolete, and we
Right.
want to give an option of how that is not the case. As I said, SingularityNET is heavily research focused, and so I would say around 30 to 40% of our collaborators are AI researchers, and Ben is working on a few core pieces around what's called Hyperon, which is his brain and his manifestation of AGI, and he's been building it with a new programming language called Meta, which is also the same language for MetaCycle, which is going to be a layer 0 blockchain that we will release later this year, that has the same language both for the AGI LLM equivalent or the AGI brain as well as for the blockchain. So one language both for AI as well as for blockchain. And this is just in short some of the core pieces that we're doing.
Wow.
As for the alliance, the challenge and opportunities, really, obviously things take time. We have around between 400 and 500 contributors ecosystem wide. We closed the merger in summer last year, so now we have spent the last 6 months looking at integration of our tech stacks, polishing and producing developer documentation, as well as community engagement exercises, so that we can go beyond saying it and start showing to the world how this thing could look. And this is what's happening now, including with the release of what we released yesterday, which we can talk about later. So in collaboration with Fetch.ai, yesterday we released ASI-1 Mini, which is our own LLM that is focused on first agentic economy. So it has native agentic capabilities, and it has the goal of creating a base framework for fast and efficient agentic frameworks development. And the infrastructure behind it is, again, built by our teams. And really with the goal is cheaper than it compares to like 4.0, ChatGPT and so on. So benchmarks are available online. But where we want to go is really a place where people can own their model, own their data, monetize it, and create community around the technology. So the way that is designed, we can technically release domain-specific models. So imagine a finance-specific, biotech-specific model that is much cheaper to train than the available ones. And we are going to release tokenization frameworks where the community contributors, capital contributors, can own a piece of the benefits that come from interacting with the model. So people can come to us, and now again we just released it. It's in demo. People can check it out. I think at ASI1.inc.
Okay.
And we are working with builders to basically build models with them. So you can leverage our technology and build your own model.
Wow.
With a few $100,000 to low $1 million compared to tens of millions solutions.
And so then you can monetize those models, and you own those models.
Correct. You can. There's a privacy preserving layer, so you can own the model, protect your data, train the model on private data, which is a big thing as well. Hosted locally, running on our own compute network with Kudos. Use our own agent framework from Fetch. Use the AGI and AI tools from SingularityNET, and it all kind of combines into one. But you can also own a piece of it.
Wow, that is fascinating. And so how do people can just start playing around with it right now?
Yes, you can play around right now. The demo is available. We launched it yesterday. In the next couple of weeks, we will release the agentic capabilities, and we call on all builders to come engage, and we can start co-building. We have obviously hackathons with, coming up with some of the larger networks and foundations, so that we're really kind of AI abstraction layer. So we have our own layer 1, but we want to work with everybody. That's the purpose of the alliance, kind of open arms. So for us, the success is adoption, and obviously Fetch token / ASI would be the base for all of this. But we're happy to work with any ecosystem. So we're going to be going on hackathons and organizing our own events for builders to come engage with us, and we can build together, your own LLM.
That's super exciting. I'm going to backtrack a little bit
Yes.
because you mentioned building an LLM for the blockchain.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to, as someone who might not quite understand, because I think people in general now, unless, there's a lot of people going to be watching this. So there's people who are still struggling to understand what an LLM is, and there's
Right.
people who are still struggling to understand what a blockchain is.
Right.
What does it mean to have an LLM for the blockchain or on the blockchain?
Right. But there's many angles to this. Okay. Let's start from what they are, obviously. So an LLM, a large language model, is a foundational model with its own reasoning techniques and methodologies. It is obviously a huge advancement coming from the last 2 years, and it's on the journey of moving away from narrow AI applications that have been there for a while, and to more AGI, meaning artificial general intelligence. So context-based things as well.
Right.
So more like a thinking brain, right? Where we are right now is they're getting smart, and obviously they have access to humongous data sets, but they're still like kind of an optimization tool for specific things. What's happening now in the AI space is that we're starting to create organizations of different ages collaborating with each other, right?
Different agents, you said?
Agents,
Okay.
yes. Different LLM and different agents. So you can see every module, you can basically compose a system, whichever you want,
Right.
because it's super fluid, right? You can have an agent with DeepSeek and an agent with ChatGPT that talk to each other.
Right.
And they can learn from each other.
Yep.
So what's next, right? So if you look at where we're going, the technical advancements are incredible, to be honest. The speed and pace of progress is crazy. So I think we want to take a step back and look at, okay, what's this new economy going to look like, right? And similarly to the digital revolution, we should be looking at a few key points. Who owns the data? Data is like the oil of the system, right? So the challenge right now is that all the LLMs are trained on public data. Public data is limited and very low quality, right? You can scrape the whole Twitter and the whole internet. You'll find what is there. Next is private data.
Yeah.
Private data is private, and not
Yeah,
everybody
right.
wants to share it. So the first thing is, how do we learn how to protect, monetize, and let people access the data on a selective basis?
Right.
To train things that are smarter based on all the rest of the data that is available while not giving it up, right? So this is a big thing. And again, we have already now a privacy preserving layer, so we can train the model and make it available publicly, but the data remains yours. So we just open source the weights, so the results of the training. Second piece is, I think it's basic tokenization. And as in tokenization at different levels. But what I mean now is on the payment side and on the rewards economy side, so incentives. So linking it to data again, right? Data is the oil of it. Oil is expensive. In the current systems, it's not really acknowledged or built in this way, right? You go on OpenAI, ChatGPT, you interact with it, and the data goes. By creating, first of all, the LLM already now, it's already wallet connected, right? So as simple as there's an LLM, you connect a wallet and there's an interaction. Depending on how many tokens you have, you can do certain things.
So I'm just curious, and I don't want to interrupt. Sure. I want to make sure you continue with this this thought process. But to clarify, in a way, because the data is private and it's owned by you,
not by me.
Exactly. It's owned by my data is owned by me.
Right.
In a way that kind of slows down like the whole everything that's happening with AGI, right? Am I understanding that correctly?
So I wouldn't say so, because right now that data is already not available.
Okay.
Because you're not sharing it, right? And it's also, maybe it is available if you interact with ChatGPT, but it just gets lost in the lake of data out there.
Okay.
I would say, at this point, maybe it is slowing things down, because because that data is not yet available. But as soon as you open the gates, it should be an acceleration, actually.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's gonna open. This opens up a whole.
Give a place where everybody feels comfortable to share their private data, knowing that it's protected. What will happen? People will start sharing their private data.
Interesting.
And get paid for it. As soon as that gets on the open internet, then there's a whole new set of knowledge that will become available to everybody, at least in the what you can build on it. Right?
Fascinating. So this is kind of going back probably to the founder's thesis that you were talking about, like with AGI, because there's definitely like a lot of doomers out there who think everything is gonna.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's hard to say where. I mean, you can see some trends, but it's hard to say how the world would be in, like, say, 25 years.
Right.
Maybe 5 years, you can have a 60% level of confidence.
Right.
10 years is really hard.
Okay.
25 is really, really hard. But so it's scary, right? And there's doom style news flow, especially around jobs, for example.
Yeah.
But it will change. It is already changing. But it doesn't have to completely make us obsolete immediately. First of all, not everything will change at the pace that we're seeing technologically. Technology drives innovation, but this is so big, it will hurt. It will hit a few roadblocks in terms of regulation, right? In terms of actual adoption of the wider world, right? And I think that the pace of technological advancement is already being slowed down right now.
Right.
There are technologies available that are not publicly available because they're possibly too powerful. So let's see. Society has to adjust, and the economy has to adjust.
Can you kind of briefly, and at this point I'm just having a conversation with you because it's fascinating to me. Can you kind of briefly explain what the thesis is? And this is the founder, right? Of the
Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben's. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is Ben's kind of
So
thesis?
okay. So this is gonna get philosophical really fast. Yeah.
It's gonna go what?
Philosophical really fast.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're here for
All
it.
right. So what does for the benefit of humanity means, right?
Yeah.
AGI. Okay. So I mean, you can break up the statement in two. So one is AI and AI to AGI to ASI. So that's a technological advancement. So we go from narrow AI, so an AI that is good at doing something very specific, very good. And now we're there. So we are at the point where AI is about to become PhD level on everything that humans can do. That's months away.
Wow.
If not already a year. Okay. But it's good at doing that one thing at PhD level, and then it needs to speak to another AI to learn to, right? So the second step is AGI, where it learns to have context and to learn even if it doesn't have the data. Right now, you need to like give it a book, it will learn the book, and then it will tell you the best things about the book.
Right. So it can
Tomorrow,
think for itself and make.
Tomorrow, it doesn't need the book anymore.
Wow.
It can think by himself and learn by itself.
Right. How far do you think we are from that?
I don't know. People say few years, like from, I mean, the very aggressive ones 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
And others maybe 5 to 10.
Okay. And so from AGI.
From AGI to ASI, which is then Superbrain, right? It's kind of the prequel to the Singularity, because if you think about it, now we're going hyper specialized domain specific. Next, they're gonna start talking to each other, either by improvement of what we have or by creating a master brain that starts orchestrating them. So they will start merging with each other. You will need a few very powerful ones, and next they will all be one, which is the Singularity.
Wow.
So that's almost inevitable if you look at where it will be. Along the way, what will stay once all these AGIs or all these AIs basically will all have the same skills, right? Because they will be readily available. Sure, right. You know, you can make something private and so on and so forth, but generally the technological skills will be widely commoditized and available to everybody to build their own thing. So what is going to be the difference between one AGI and the other? And one thing that will happen is that AGIs will develop personalities. Personalities is in personalities. So, right. Personalities is in a base set of values that they've optimized for, a problem statement or more that they want to solve for, and they will work towards those goals with those set of values. And obviously this can change. But the initial seed comes from us.
Right.
So if you want to make it for the benefit of humanity, we want to make sure that they're being optimized for the right thing. What the right thing is opinable and subject to discussion, which is what we want to do.
Okay.
Engage in this discussion and identify together what the future of humanity can be and how can it be made positive. What is clear is that if it's optimized for killing people between or a digital war between US and China, then it's going to become a war machine. And that is clearly happening, but it doesn't have to be the only one.
Wow. And so this kind of brings us back to the original question I asked, which is like the connection between AI and blockchain.
Right.
So this is decentralized,
right.
And you're allowing for, it seems like, the community members and the people that are interacting with it to have to engage, right? So so where, like, tell me a little bit about how the blockchain, like, can continue with that.
So we said data first, right? Second, tokenization, and tokenization was going towards incentivization and monetization, but also ownership, right? So we will be releasing in the next few months a tokenization framework where people can own a piece of that LLM or toolkit that we make available.
Mm-hmm.
And so foster like an understanding and a kind of educational journey where like you own it. You're not only getting the benefits, but you're also accountable for what it does.
Oh, interesting. You own it.
You own it. It will learn from the data that you give it and from the community that you selected to participate in. So
any repercussions are on you technically?
Well, I mean,
or you're saying
on the collective, right?
Okay.
But your contribution to the collective will be recognized,
Gotcha.
and you get positive, better, and negative, worse.
Wow.
So blockchain is a tooling system in this case, which protects or allows for disintermediation of, again, data ownership, settlement systems, and incentive systems. That's what I'm looking at. And then obviously the holy grail is decentralize the whole infrastructure, right? Like, which is going to be a journey, right? Is this model completely decentralized right now? No, it's hosted, by us or by you, depending. So, but we will move towards a full decentralization of the system. So, decentralized data, decentralized storage, and obviously, again, that's why we are an alliance, because there are already people building these things we want to build together.
So so what do you think the future of AI and Web3 is, and what's next for SingularityNET?
Yeah, so I think that, so first of all, crypto and AI is kind of a match made in heaven. I think by design of how the AI economy will be is, as we outlined a few things, we'll have all these sort of like infinite agents here and there, and some of them will succeed. You can imagine a transaction between you and I, it's as low as me taking out a bill and giving it to you. It's very slow. Once those transactions become like every thought of an agent is a transaction, then the settlement systems from traditional world, they don't work. Crypto does. So from that kind of financial tooling perspective, I think is perfect. And also, I mean, we are a manifestation of a culture as well, right? Decentralization, DAOs. I mean, sometimes, especially in bull markets, we forget why we're here.
Right.
But it's still there. It's the ethos of what we bring, right? And I think the split between how traditional, establishments and the blockchain world looks at this is going to become mainstream at some point. And we want that to continue. We want people to understand that there's another way, and there's a positive way for doing this, and that it already exists, and we want to engage. And so for us, the journey is, I think we want to engage more, get people to come talk to us. We've been kind of in this transition phase from the post-merger for a few months. I mean, real life structuring things and making things work. Mm-hmm. And now we're ready to go out. So we really want this to start going beyond us and become a message that goes out in the world.
Amazing. So how can people like me, start interacting with with the LLM?
Well, so the LLM is live, and you can talk to us. We'll establish a support group we'll ourselves reach out via hackathons and connecting with people. and then we'll establish a support group that you can interact with and submit your proposals. We also have a grants program called Deep Funding, which will release RFPs around challenges on how to integrate and build this LLM together. So
fascinating, very cool. And one just kind of like a thought I have. We're here at ETH Denver, and you're hearing everyone's. It's like it's almost like it's AI Denver,
right?
You know what I mean? Like there's agents,
right.
There's like more. It's just as much crypto. There's equal amount of like agent meetups. So, do you think it's like, is it overhyped? Is the hype like valid? Like what's the?
I think I mean right now, hype levels are going down a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, at least price wise. No, I think I think it's not overhyped, and it is a bubble. I mean, we already went through a bubble phase for AI agents. As for every new thing, there's gonna be thousands, tens of thousands of this. Mostly will die, some will stay and will make an impact. I think that won't change. The beauty of what we do is that we move at such a faster pace than every other space, and as we just said, AI plus crypto is a perfect match. So I think that from our world we can drive actual innovation just because we move faster. We're gonna try and build a whole lot of like useless stuff and make money with it and lose money with it, but along the way we will really build something, especially on the open source kind of culture, in a way that others are not looking at. Others are looking at making their business very efficient and satisfying their shareholders.
Right.
Like it's a completely different type of mentality.
Mindset,
and they will take years to shift it. We're already there. So I'm really excited about what I see, about the excitement. If you speak, I mean, I like it Denver because it's builder focused. I've been here a few days before the craze starts. And I think obviously people are worried about prices, but it's still vibrant. And many people are saying and looking in the right way. And obviously pace of innovation and building is incredibly faster than before. So keep building, it will be exciting.
Wow. Mario?
Yeah.
This was amazing.
Likewise.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Pleasure.
Brought to you by Hedera and Foresight Ventures.
Hey, what's up?
But it's not something Gen Z is afraid of.
If you want to survive, you got to build a hive.
We do not understand that we do not want.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rebecca's Gen Z